Koboko is currently having 3 days reconciliation prayers attracting people from Lango, Acholi, Madi, South Sudan and Democratic Republic of Congo. According to Venerable Daniel Agoi, Archdeacon of Church of Uganda, Kerry, the ongoing convention is a build-up of an earlier one that took place in 2019. He, however, says many of the expected regions have not turned up due to the ongoing burial arrangements of late Honorable Cecilia Ogwang.
Thank you very much. My name is Mawa Michael. I come from Koboko, specifically a village called Nyatika in Western Division. I am part of the church here in Koboko. This convention we're having this year is a build-up on an earlier one that took place in 2019, where we had the opportunity to engage with different communities around the country. The most prominent, obviously, were the Acholi and the Langi who came here for a convention in January 2019. And after that convention, a big delegation from Koboko went to Muchwini, where there was that historic public reconciliation between the Kakwa and the Acholi and the Langi. So this particular convention here is building on that process. Yes, we were expecting the Acholi and the Langi to join us here, but as we probably all know, they have lost a very important leader, the Honorable Cecilia Ogwal. May she rest in peace. So most of them have been taken up, but they have indicated to us at an opportune time in the course of the year, they will still honor their intention of coming to Koboko. So we'll be expecting them in the course of the year at a time frame that we will agree with them. About this particular one which is running, our theme is taken from Nehemiah 2:17, and it brings 3 major things which relate to the state of our land today, our people today, our families today, our communities today. It talks about seeing the trouble, the distress we are in. The second thing it speaks about is let us arise and build. And the third thing it says is so that we may no longer be a reproach. When we look at our families, we see the trouble we're in. When we look at our institutions, our education institutions, we see the trouble we're in. When we look at the health institutions, we see the trouble we're in. When we see the level of poverty, we see the trouble we're in. And it does not remain within our borders of Koboko. Across these international borders, because Koboko borders South Sudan and Congo, we see the same situations. So we came here for this regional event to do what Nehemiah did in his time. He cried out to God, and then God sent him to do something about the reproach that was breaking his heart. And we believe by coming together, God will help us reconcile to himself first, and then to one another, and then galvanize us into a force that can do something about the state of reproach. Historically, we had a government that was led by a son of this place, His Excellency Idi Amin Dada, and it has been said many times that some negative things happened during his regime, like it happens with every government. And we know that these things have consequences. And in the course of that administration, people were hurt. And when there are hurts, when there is woundedness, there is need for healing. And the purpose of this is to administer the balm that will bring that healing. And for us as a church, we believe that balm is repentance asking for forgiveness. We too were hurt, especially after his government fell. So asking for forgiveness, but also receiving forgiveness from, dispensing forgiveness to those that own up for maybe what they did to our people. And it will not be done in one form. The convention is one of the many vehicles. Lango Diocese took up 4 Kakwa children who are being sponsored. And they study in Lango. They are going to sponsor them from primary school up to university. And then we have 13 students from Koboko who are training for ordination at All Saints University. So the reconciliation process will keep unfolding. We cannot be pegged to history perpetually. Many of the things that are attributed to our forefathers, some of us never touched. My own father never held a gun. His gun was the chalk. He was a primary school teacher. So he did not shed anybody's blood, But for the purpose of collective responsibility, we have taken responsibility so that we may draw a line in the sand so that the future will be different. I am sure the different communities of Uganda, we have hurt each other. It is a godly thing for us to come out and own up for the hurts we've inflicted upon other people and ask for forgiveness. And I believe there's enough forgiveness to go around the country to heal us and make us the pearl of Africa that we are meant to be.
Some welfare of the people be catered for. And when we organize for this function, we always rely on our Christians who are touched by this important ministry. They give wholeheartedly to support the ministry. And so whatever we get is what we use to carry out our programs. And God is rich through the people. He blesses us through the people, and things happen.
Good afternoon. My name is Eunice Arie Owinyi. I am a daughter of Koboko. My home is in Turupa, and I'm happy to be part of this reconciliation convention. From this particular one, I pick these things. 1, that you can never reconcile with another until you've reconciled with yourself. 2, it tells me about the different walls that should have protected me as an individual. The wall of the family, the wall of the clan, the wall of the tribe, all those things are pegged. I begin to understand why I should suffer collective guilt, because I cannot dissociate myself from the tribe. Even if I changed my name, I would still, the blood that flows through my veins is still Kakwa blood. So I suffer that, but I am being released. That one, I've acknowledged that these were wrongs done, and we are sorry about. It's human to err, but it is divine and boldness to ask for forgiveness and acknowledge that you've done something wrong. And after that, we need to move on. And so today's convention and other conventions to come are specifically going to boost what seed has already been planted. And I know as individuals rebuild their lives, and they rebuild their families, and they rebuild the clans and the tribe in Koboko, believe you me, in the next 5 to 10 years, what we see on the streets of Koboko, we are not going to see. The despair is being dissipated. We are coming back as a proud people. We are not ashamed to be called the Kakwa. And I think that is the joy of this reconciliation for me. My message to the nation is that, yes, as human beings, because we are fallible. We are not perfect. And from time to time, we will be hurting each other. We may be wounding each other. But we should have the grace to acknowledge the wrongs that we have done and move beyond that. Let's not tie ourselves to bitterness on the inside, because when we tie ourselves to bitterness, you meet a person who has even forgiven you, who has even forgotten that they hurt you, and because that bitterness is in you, it is eating you up. As the saying goes, it's like giving poison to yourself that you should have given to your enemy. So don't die with bitterness on the inside. It is not necessary for us as a nation. And two, to the nation, I am appealing that don't use the sin of one individual to imprison a whole people. It is wrong. It is wrong. It destroys our nation. And thirdly, as human beings, it doesn't matter where we come from. It doesn't matter the creed. There is only one commandment that God has given us, which we should really take upon. The choice to love one another. It is a conscious decision that we make. Discrimination will never take us anywhere. We should stop the habit of being the only bulls in the kraal. Let there be food on all our tables and enough food for our children. Let our roads be free for everybody. Let us all enjoy being here, because no Ugandan asked to be born in the tribe that they find themselves in. And so I should not be persecuted for being a Kakwa. Let everybody be proud of who they are.
The theme talks about rebuilding the broken walls of Jerusalem. And why these broken walls? How these broken walls? Let me focus on children. What they talk about broken walls is the way our children these days behave. Our children are taking a different direction. If you go to town, the children that we expected to be attending the conference, listening to the word of God and living an upright life, are there in town chewing marungi, opium, and doing all other evil things that damages their brains. And damaging their brains, in other words, they are breaking the walls. So we are now like asking ourselves, in the future, who shall our leaders be? And how are we going to make our children stop these kind of behaviors? Stop chewing marungi. Stop smoking the opium. We are saying after this conference, we should all go back as leaders, as Christians, to talk to our children. We begin talking to them nicely by not harassing them. You can like call a boy child to say, hey my boy, you look good, you look healthy, you look intelligent. If only you can leave marungi eating, you can leave opium smoking, and become a very good boy, whom one day will marry for me, bring for me a woman home to help me at my old age. That is what we feel we must go home with after this great conference.
Yeah, by name I'm Moses Ayume. I am born of Koboko, and I am so grateful this evening to God and to the nation. I am an accountant by profession. I'd like to thank the government of Uganda for according this freedom and also peace, because as I am, I was born here and I've not gone to exile, and I'm enjoying all this because of the peace that I and we are receiving as a nation. And coming to this convention, been following this convention right from 2019, and it has been inspiring to date. I am very happy and I'm very blessed to be part of this history. When you look in the book of Exodus 34:7, it talks of God punishing generations because of the sins of the forefathers. And I'm grateful that I need to pray for a family, I need to pray for a nation, and I also need to pray for my new generation that I'm going to start. And I'm very grateful that these walls that are being broken, we need not to really look at very far. We know that at family levels, even brothers and sisters are not staying in harmony. Even parents are not staying in harmony. There are other children who are growing the parental care, and yet they have the biological parents. And I think if we can really pray and see that God reconciles us together, so that these broken walls are mended and also brought back together, and we work to see that we have a new and vibrant, powerful generation that will serve God and also serve the nation, will give me the zeal to work and do a lot, especially to my generation.
Sharon Blessing, Laita TV News.